Hello and welcome to the November 2014 energy reading. I'm Adrienne Elise. Well, October was really power-packed with astrological events, with two eclipses, Mercury retrograde and a grand fire trine. So the grand fire trine at the beginning of October gave us a glimpse into this future, maybe what it means, all the stuff we've been going through, and what we're actually heading to, and finding more information, finding some inspiration around our future. And then kind of plunged into this kind of heavier astrology. Now, Mercury went direct on October 25th, and on the 26th, Mars, our fighter action planet, moved into Capricorn. And Capricorn is interested in moving forward in a very practical way. So Mars and Capricorn, that fighter planet, we're looking for actual real results. We're looking to bring those inspirations and visions that came to us perhaps during that grand fire trine. And this whole summer we had some fiery inspiration energy and visions for our future. And to really now, with this Mars and Capricorn, having an opportunity to really have some practical steps moving forward. And we're still feeling this eclipse cycle until the full moon on the 6th of November. And so, because the last eclipse was on the new moon, and so this full moon is a culmination of it. And so we're going to start seeing and understanding what this October astrology means for us personally as we move into this time. And this will be particularly true as on the 8th, when Mercury it joins Venus, Saturn, and the Sun in Scorpio. So we have all these planets in Scorpio. We're really getting enmeshed after October being really fiery and airy, and then moving into these watery depths of Scorpio. But it's good because we need this energy to wash away all these things that are keeping us from moving into that life that we dream of, moving into the life of our dreams. So on the 8th, Mercury goes into Scorpio, and then on the 9th, it returns to 2 degrees Scorpio, which is where it was when it went retrograde, and then went back into Libra, and now into Scorpio. And so this cusp says a lot about our evolution right now, this Libra into Scorpio cusp. This last year has been heavy duty about relationships, and with Saturn and Scorpio for the last couple of years, it's been about this karmic healing that we need to do in the inner depths of ourselves. And of course, our relationships are what bring us these opportunities. And so we're having a lot of information come forward around the Libra and the harmony we want in our life and the relationships, but then the deepest part, our desires, are the depths of our soul, and what's really going on there. So we can come into alignment with the truth of who we really are, get our life in alignment. And this has everything to do with the Pluto-Uranus square, which we're coming up with the 6th exact of the Pluto-Uranus square that's been happening over the last couple of years, as well as Saturn and Scorpio for the last couple of years. So this whole period of time has been about finding out what we need to get rid of and beginning to break away, wash away, dissolve away the karmic shadow parts of ourselves so that we can really move into the future. And indeed, 2015 astrology is very different. It's very clear on many levels. We have these messages this month in November that we're culminating and completing a cycle and getting ready for a new one. And that's on many levels. It's the 26,000-year cycle between the ages as we move into the Age of Aquarius. It's the last 2-year cycle. It's the last 2-month cycle. And so there's a lot of completion going on, and we'll be getting that information as Mercury the messenger went into that retrograde cycle in these signs, and now we're going to start to understand what this whole year has been about. And Mars actually around the 10th to the 12th comes into a conjunction with Pluto, and so really triggers this Pluto-Uranus square. And the exact of that is going to be on December 12th, 12/12. But we're feeling it now. We're already in this square, Pluto-Uranus square, because they're both such slow-moving planets. And so we're just all of November and December, we're really going to be feeling this 6th exact. And to me, I liken it to the 6th chakra, which is our third eye. It's our knowing. It's our intuition, our understanding of the truth. And so that Mercury retrograde from Scorpio back into Libra, back into Scorpio, now as it comes into Scorpio, is really going to help us reveal and understand what this has all been about, and get us ready for this next Pluto-Uranus square, this ready to receive our sixth chakra awakening, our intuitive knowing, the truth of who we really are as spiritual beings, and getting our life to align with that, which means the breaking down of structures in our life. And so that Pluto-Uranus square has really been kind of plugging away, and it's kind of like, okay, well, what's the next thing on my list that this Pluto-Uranus square might shake up and have to resolve? You know, these different areas of our life that maybe have been kind of moving along in a status quo, and that's just no longer quite appropriate for the age we live in. It's about change, and it's about moving forward into the new. And so the energy of resistance that, or trauma, or difficulty in life right now has to do with when we're resistant to these changes that are actually our greatest helper, moving us into the new age, into the age of Aquarius. And that for us means an opportunity to create a very different life that's way more satisfying. And so that's what this is all about. And so in a way, it's a really intense astrological time. We should really use the rest of this year to just delve in and clear out all that we can while we have this energy, while we have this Saturn in Scorpio completing its process, and just really be ready for that new astrology coming, the new energy. We're leaping into the age of Aquarius. And so to kind of just hunker down for these next couple months and face those inner demons we've been running from. And there's a lot of support for that, especially with Venus there in Scorpio for the first half of this month. Now, at the second half of this month, energy changes again. First of all, Neptune goes direct on the 15th, and Neptune has been retrograde since June. So this is another energy that's been going on throughout this whole year. And it has to do with Neptune is the spiritual seeking side of ourselves, the part of ourselves that wants to have that connection with the whole. And so coupled with this Mercury, with Neptune going direct and Mercury, Mars and Capricorn, we're going to be called and supported in taking practical steps towards our spiritual awakening. So it's a really great time in the second part of this month to start a new practice, a daily practice, a meditation practice, yoga practice, especially in that kind of feminine energy of the Scorpio, the water, and the receptivity. And that's something that allows you to receive all of this inspiration and this intuition and this internal knowing that is trying to awaken within all of us. And there's also a great time for some productivity because we have that Neptune going direct, that spiritual seeking part of ourselves. And but then on the 8th, December 8th, Jupiter will go retrograde. And so between those two, there's just this really great opportunity to take those practical steps forward towards your goals and dreams and visions. And that is supported by that Mars in Capricorn. And Mars is in Capricorn until the end of the month, and then it moves into Sagittarius. And this is really interesting. So all these planets that are in Scorpio are moving in Sagittarius, and that starts with Venus at the middle of the month. And then on the 22nd, this is the day of the new moon, and also when the sun moves into Sagittarius. And so this type of alignment that we're seeing in astrology really speaks to this whole thing. So the new moon exactly on the day when the sun moves into Sagittarius is an alignment that says, hey, this is important. This is the end of an era and the beginning of an era, the end of a cycle, the beginning of a cycle. And there's just that beautiful alignment on 1122, 1122. That sun goes into Sagittarius. Now this is a big shift because, and it's foreshadowing the energetic change that's coming at the end of the year as Saturn leaves Scorpio and moves into Sagittarius. So this, in the beginning of November, we have all these planets together with Saturn in Scorpio, and then one by one they move into Sagittarius. So guess what? Each of them visits old man Saturn, that our karmic duty planet, the worker, taskmaster planet, and they're one by one triggering that Saturn in Scorpio. And then Saturn at the end of December moves into Sagittarius. So we're getting a foreshadowing of the new that's coming. And it's very different because Saturn in Scorpio is about our karmic work, being about finding those depths and darkness, shadows, understanding the mysteries inside of ourselves. And so going deeply within. And then Sagittarius, as Saturn moves into Sagittarius, the next couple years are going to have more of an energy of like our karmic work and our duty is about dreaming bigger and being expansive in what we expect in our life and what we want to create in our life and what's possible. So that's really powerful energy that's going to be that leap into the Age of Aquarius. And we're feeling that this month as all of these planets visit Saturn and then shift into Sagittarius. So by the end of the month, we have a whole bunch of planets in Sagittarius and a whole different energy, more fire energy again. So Mercury comes into a square at that point with Jupiter, and Mercury is giving us so much information, of course the winged messenger, but because it has had that Mercury retrograde and we're still really learning about it, and squaring up against that Jupiter's in Leo. It's the ruler of Sagittarius, and this is a very powerful aspect. Once we have Saturn in Sagittarius, and Jupiter will be in Leo for the next whole year as well, and those are both really fiery, expressive signs. And so Jupiter is the expansive self, that dreamer, that out on the edge and out on the frontier. And so Mercury is asking us in that square, what information are we missing to be able to express our dreams and our visions? Express that bigger part of us, the part inside of ourselves that is screaming to be heard. And so that Mercury square Jupiter at the end of the month, it's kind of telling us what all this astrology is about. It's qualifying the whole Mercury or the Pluto-Uranus square of this next couple months. It's saying, what are we missing before we go forward? What else needs to be washed away? What else needs to be clarified? Let's clean up the pieces. Let's pick up the pieces and look at what's happened to be able to clear it up and move forward. So it was a fiery summer. It was a very powerful fire trine at the beginning of October, giving us these glimpses. And so the mountain goat, this Mars and Capricorn energy for this month, most of this month, is about taking those steps to move forward in your life. And there's some energy towards productivity, but at the same time, this powerful energy towards cleaning up our inner muck. And so together, if we can just take the time to meditate, take the time to be present with the process and not be scared of looking at our darkness, not be scared of shedding that skin, not be scared of saying, oh gosh, like this part about myself, I want to change. And if we can really take advantage of this energy for the rest of 2014, 2015 can be really amazing for us, better than we could have imagined. So it's just kind of time to hunker down and get into it so that we can get out of that old skin, so that we can dissolve everything that's not supporting our forward motion into our new paradigm, our new earth paradigm, and that we are here to create together. And that starts with following those glimmers of that we've gotten in those fiery energies, those inspirations of ideas of what you want to create and what you want to do in your life. And so my suggestion with this Mars and Capricorn is just to kind of every day do one little thing towards a goal. you know, something you want to bring into your life. It's just like really focus on one thing you really want to bring into your life, or one aspect or energy or what it feels like, and just do one thing each day that is resonant with that, and see what kind of change you have at the end of November. That's really going to be effectively using this energy at the same time, of course, taking the time to process emotionally, clear away, really take a good look at that inner self, using the most of, making the most of this astrology for the end of the year so we can leap off into the new. So blessings on your journey. Have a wonderful November 2014. We'll see you next month. Namaste.